Hi boys and girls, so we're back for another fun week of science and we're going to continue our transportation and travel unit. So we've been talking about the 3 ways in which we travel. And now who can remember what are the 3 ways in which we travel? Let me give you a minute to think about that. There's 1, 2, 3. You got it. Very good. We can travel by land, we can travel by air, and we can travel by water. Things that are on the land are like cars, buses, trains, taxis, bicycles, things that usually have wheels. Things that travel in the air are like airplanes and jet planes and helicopters, hot air balloons, things like that that usually either have wings, have propellers, and have engines just like the cars do. Things that travel on water are boats, submarines, cruise ships, paddle boats, anything that usually, again, has some sort of engine with a propeller, or you can use oars, or you can row or do something like that, like a canoe, a pedal boat where you actually have to pedal, different things like that. So this week, we're going to focus on the ways that we travel in the water and in the air. So our first experiment is we are going to make a boat. And we're going to see, now this is where it's going to get tricky. Normally, what do boats do in the water? That's right, they float. Boats float in the water. But guess what? We don't want a floating boat. We are going to sink a boat. So the idea of whether something sinks or floats is called buoyancy. Can you guys say that word with me? Buoyancy. Buoyancy is an object's ability to float. A boat is buoyant if it's built right. It will stay on top of the water. Things that are not buoyant will sink, like a rock. If you drop a rock into water, what do you think it's going to do? Do you think it's going to float or is it going to sink? If you said sink, good job. A rock is not buoyant. A boat, though, is buoyant. So that has the principle of buoyancy behind it. We are going to make a boat out of tinfoil, and we are going to see how many pennies it is going to take to sink our boat. So this activity is very easy. You're going to need things that I know most of you, if not all of you, have around the house. You're going to need a big container. A bowl will be fine if you have a like a lasagna tin or anything that you can hold a good amount of water in, because you do want to be able to tell if and when your boat sinks. And if you can't get that much water in it, it's really not going to work right. So try and get a nice big bowl or container. You are going to need some water, of course, because sink or float, water goes together. You are going to need some pennies. Hopefully you have a lot of pennies. If for some reason you don't have pennies, don't worry. This activity can pretty much work with anything. How many crayons does it take to sink a boat? How many paper clips? Because I know we were just doing a ton of paper clip activities with our magnets. How many spoons? How many pinches of salt? It literally can be anything you want. But for this activity today, I'm going to use pennies, and I have a whole baggie full of them. And then you're also going to need tin foil to make your boat. Now, I already made mine. I got a nice big piece of tin foil, and what I did was I folded over the edges to make the walls of my boat. Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint. Try and make your walls bigger and standing up straight, because the bigger they are and the straighter they are, hopefully the more pennies they're going to hold. And we want to see how many pennies can we get into our boat before it does sink. So when you have all those things, guess what? We're ready to start our experiment. So first thing we're going to do is, wait a minute, not even pour the water. We forgot a huge step. We have to make a guess. We have to think, how many pennies do you think it's going to take to sink my boat? And now my boat's not huge, but it's a nice size. It's pretty deep. Now a lot of my friends, when we've done this activity before, they've said 1 penny, 3 pennies. I'm going to give you another hint. It's going to be a lot of pennies, hopefully, if you do it right. So I want everybody, before they do this, to make a guess. How many pennies do you think is going to be able to be put into your boat before the boat sinks, before the boat is no longer buoyant? I'm going to guess 45. I don't know why. That number just seems nice to me. When you guys do this activity, you can ask pretty much anybody to guess how many pennies they think it's going to take to sink your boat. You can ask your mom, you can ask your dad, brothers, sisters. This is a great chance to even call grandma and grandpa and ask them, tell them about our experiment. Say, I'm building a tinfoil boat, and how many pennies do you think it's going to take to sink my boat? And see what they do, and make a whole list, and at the end, somebody's going to be right. Maybe they get a prize. We'll see. But let's get started, and let's see how many pennies sink my boat. Now, I guessed 45. Do any of you guys want to make a guess? Whoa, that's a lot of pennies. Oh my goodness. Oh, we'll see. All right, so before we start, of course, we need water in order for our boat to float. So I'm going to pour some water into my big bowl. All right, that should be good. And I want to make sure that my boat is buoyant, which means it will float. And it does. It stays right on top. So now it's penny time. So let's pour some of my pennies onto this plate. Hopefully, could you imagine if it took all of these pennies? Oh, we'd be here forever counting. This is a great chance to practice our counting skills too. All right, let's get moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, wow, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, my goodness, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. I was right! Oh my goodness, I totally didn't fix that. I swear. 45 pennies. And my boat sank. I should play the lottery. Oh my goodness. Look at that. So it took 45 pennies to sink my boat. Now let me tell you, I have done this experiment a number of times, and this is the least amount of pennies it's ever taken to sink my boat. Usually, I get up to about like 80, 90. I've even gotten up to 100 before. So it really, it matters how you build your boat and how, like I said, the wall and how deep it is, and also the force in which you throw your pennies in. But look at that, 45 pennies sank my boat. So I can't wait for you guys to try this experiment, and I want to know, how many pennies does it take to sink your boat? Let me know. Is it less pennies than mine? Was it more pennies than mine? Or was it the same? We'll see. I hope you guys have a lot of fun and have a great time sinking your boats. Bye.